Jai Jai Rama Om Shri Rama Jai Rama 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 Jai Jai Rama Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Hari Om, Hari Om. Where are we now? Which chapter?
They are telling Ajmer. One second, sound. Hari Om.
Ajmer, Swami.
Shari.
Chapter 29.
29. So we move to 30 now.
Complete, I read. Not yet completed.
Not yet completed.
Oh, what is it that we have not completed? Tell me.
That ferocious animals are also forms of God.
Ferocious animals were also forms of God.
That is over, no? Here, what comes to our mind is based on our association with the Jain with whom we were working. So long as we are totally fearless, then only we can say our love for all is there. Fearlessness is the outcome of that love for everybody. We have shared many incidents. How he saved a snake, a poisonous snake that went into the septic tank. As soon as he went there, it was lying in the lavatory. Because of the gaduvada, it just went inside, and the septic tank is very near to the lavatory. It was about 12:30 in the night or 1 o'clock in the night. And this man was trying to remove the slab. Then only we knew that something is wrong. So we rushed up with a torch. Then he said one snake has gone inside. And then the slab was removed. Then with the help of the torch we were able to identify the snake. We know what is inside the septic tank. So it was finding it difficult everywhere. So then a ladder was brought, and then slowly we lowered the ladder. Initially the snake thought we were attacking, so it was avoiding. But later on, somehow, it knew that it was for saving. And then it went and lay down on the ladder, slowly removed the ladder, and then the snake went away. So that means, his love is there, but he was fearless. Both these go together. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhi, in 16th chapter, The Devi Sampath starts with this, Abhayam. Vinobaji used to say that is the commander. Humbleness is the commander at the back. Fearlessness is the commander on the front. So that is something we have been asked to cultivate, or we must somehow pray to God to give us that fearlessness. Fearlessness not out of adventurism, no. Fearlessness out of love for all. So many instances we have shared. So it will not attack us. We have never heard anyone got attacked in the estate. We ourselves served them for more than 22 years. Before that also we have heard nobody. Suppose they find one workers while they are on the field. If they happen to see a cobra or something like that, they will immediately report to the office. And one of our maestris, he is a snake catcher. He will go and catch the snake and put it in the mud pot. And then we take it in the jeep to the guard section and then slowly break the pot and we have never heard anybody, that means about 30, 40, 50 years, we have never heard anybody who died of any snake bite. So that is how, the fearlessness. We will be careful, but at the same time, there won't be any fear inside. People who are staying in metropolitan cities, they may not be able to understand these things because only in a village life all these things are possible. There, as soon as a cockroach or a lizard comes, everybody becomes upset. They have not seen such thing. But in village area, all these things will be there. And so they, when they happen to hear some bhajan, something like that, with all faith they develop this. Even they may not know that they are developing this. But ultimate result is that they are free from any fear and they don't do any harm. You might remember, some of you might remember also, one young couple from Austria when they were in Vaidan. When we went there morning, we had the breakfast. Breakfast means, as I told you, 1 or 2 pieces of cashew, 1 or 2 pieces of almond, and 1 or 2 pieces of apricot or something like that, and with black coffee or black tea. And we were sitting. Suddenly we heard some sound nearby. So she immediately got up and said, "I think my friend has come." And I was wondering, who is the friend who makes a noise there? So he said, "You want to see?" "Yeah, I went there." Then a snake was slowly coming into her so-called kitchen. Kitchen has no enclosure, it is open. And firewood is stacked. No gas, on those days. So under the firewood, this one slowly went there, and she went, there was a plate, she poured some milk. Only for the snake she buys the milk. Milk is not used for coffee or tea. And then after drinking it went away. And their house has no doors. It's a thick forest. These are all something which makes us realize what is Abhaya. It is not a theory, it is not a slogan, it is not academic exercise. It is possible. God gives us the wonderful privilege of observing this at close quarter. So when we go through this particular Ajmer, so many such things, get touched and kindled in us. The problem is people who are living in cities, right from they were born and they were brought up in cities, they may not have this facility, so they may not know at all. Immediately any insect or anything like that, they get panicky. So they have to do some extra thinking. Otherwise it stays at the lip level or intellectual level, that's all. Then anything else? Unstinted hospitality of the village, villagers. It was a feast of Satsang. There were in all about 200 in number, sorry. The beauty of it was to observe the unstinted hospitality of the villagers. Every article of comfort which they possessed was at the disposal of the sadhus. All these things we can find only in village. Unknowingly, in city life, not that everybody wants to become insensitive. They have no time. Fast life. Early morning they have to finish their bath and rush up to the bus station or train to catch the train to go to their office. And after evening they come back. Only Sundays or Saturdays are available. They clean their house and all those things. Where is the time for them to spend time like this? So they don't have this direct experience. Only in village areas or suburban areas, God will provide all these facilities. Then chapter number 30. What is the lesson?
Money is the root of all evil, Swamiji.
And practical. Without money can we survive? So what is it that Papa is trying to bring about? Money is absolutely necessary, but at the same time, what should be our attitude towards money? We realize the relevance of money in our life.
Swamiji, necessity, comfort and luxury should be identified.
For necessities, we use the money for necessities, I can understand. Then, suppose when we go for a journey, what is absolutely required only need be carried, Because if you carry money more, then you have got more problem. And why should we have so much of money? Without money, nobody can carry on with their life. Even in the ashram, we need money, But here the botheration does not come because God brings the money and God takes away the money. It is routed through somebody in the ashram, that's all. Conduit pipe. If that bhavana is there, there is no tension. During his Kasaragod ashram life, Papa did not touch money. Even when an MO, somebody sent me an MO was returned with love. Food was sent by somebody, otherwise okay. Only after setting up this ashram, slightly he modified, that's all. Whatever is offered voluntarily, he used to accept it. Same thing is going on even today. Nothing is asked. So in that case, the money is not the root of all trouble. It is a medium with which we can serve others. So we, as Mataji used to say, the attitude is God is bringing money through some of his forms, and then he takes away through some of his forms, and he wants the ashram to handle it. That's all. So if that form is that we don't own the money, you know. Papa while mentioning this, he also said, carrying or owning, you know, not committed. By this occurrence, Ram taught Ramdas a beautiful moral that he should not commit at any time the blunder of carrying or owning money, which means nothing but trouble and mischief. He is not telling to that merchant. He says, you pardon of Ram, O friend. By this occurrence, Ram taught Ramdas a beautiful moral that he should not commit at any time the blunder of carrying or owning money, which means nothing but trouble and mischief. Rightly it is said, money is the root of all evil. And in this particular chapter, one more lesson he teaches. Even if something is lost, we should be very careful while lodging the complaint. Because innocent people will be harassed. And all these things we have to pay back, you know. In the karmic angle, when we are instrumental in creating restlessness in others, we have to pay for it. So not only that we have lost the money, but we also incur a lot of other prarabdha. And in this case, Papa's view that everybody is Ram, okay, that stage the person would not have reached at all, okay. But he is also an innocent person. When he lost the money, somebody had taken the money. Without much thought, you know, he lodged the complaint with the police. And when he knew that so many innocent people were harassed because of his complaint, he felt very sorry. Because Papa had already told him when it happened, he said, don't worry about it. Since you ask for advice, he requests you to keep mum over the affair. No good fretting or making the fuss over the matter. As regards the ticket, you may travel to your destination without one. On the way or at the alighting station, if the ticket is demanded of you by the railway officers, you can explain to them the way how you lost the purse and the ticket. As a proof of this, you may show them the torn vest packet. This advice of humble Ramdas did not satisfy the merchant. He could not rest content until he reported the matter to the railway police. So Papa advised him, but still, we don't say because of his attachment, probably he may be having only at that particular time. 20 rupees is a big amount at that time. In 1923, 20 rupees is a big money. So naturally he will be upset. So he did not pay heed to Papa's. Ultimately what happened, you know, to teach everybody this lesson. And Papa doesn't say to teach Ramdas. Ram did this, made him to observe. That is why in one of his famous quotations he said, you know, the world we live in is a school in which observation and experience offer us immense possibilities for self-improvement. Nay, the world itself is Guru or God. He was telling this based upon his own experience. Not necessarily that we have to undergo that experience. We can also observe. No? The world we live in is a school in which observation and experience offer us immense possibilities for self-improvement. So these are all the learnings. So don't carry money in Allah. If you have to carry, don't own the money. Anything else?
Swamiji, never give advice if not asked.
If not asked, never give advice.
Correct.
Nobody is taking carrying money, Swami.
Nobody's?
Carrying money because Google Pay is there.
Google Pay, digital payment is the
Digital.
The importance today. What is the importance today? That's to be examined.
No, the thing is, it is not something is wrong with the money. When such a thing happens, how should be our attitude should be? For the larger interest, we will sacrifice, So, because suppose there are about 50 passengers. 49 passengers must, that 49 passengers must be innocent. For one person who had this weakness, he would have taken the money. But we are harassing these 49 people. So our mind should calculate all these things. If we are directly or indirectly responsible to wound others, we are questioning their integrity, na? So we should not. We were sharing the other day, I don't know whether you remember, many years back when we were involved in this value-based education for students, we brought a novel thing called honesty shop. So in the honesty, every school will have an honesty shop that is in a box. All the requisites, like paper, book, pen, pencil, eraser, sharpener, all those things will be kept there. And anybody can open, take it, and the price list will be kept. And they put the money. Morning they take the stock taking. Evening before they leave, they stock taking. And it will be reported to the class teacher. We happened to go on a day to one school. On that day when we went, the headmistress, she is very, very conscientious in her work. She looked very dim. So we asked what happened. She said when we opened the box, there was a shortage of 5 rupees or something. That means some of my students have behaved in a dishonest way. So we immediately said, no, why should you take it like that? 95% of the people are honest. And 5% somebody okay. They would have forgotten to put. They would not have money to put. So like that, why should we not think? Why should we think about the 5%? 95% people have done it, no? And tomorrow you announce that there was a shortage of 5. So then it will touch and kindle. It won't come just like that. We have to sacrifice. And nowadays, of course, you don't have to carry because everything is available in ATM or anything like that, the digital. So the question is, even then, should we own more than what we require? Each one can bring these 3 types, comforts, luxuries and necessities. So if we can try to bring down as spiritual aspirants, we are not asking others to do it, as devotees who are trying to raise their faith and trust in Him, that He will provide us what is required for us. So we don't have to keep on accumulating. If that is there, to a very great extent we will be free from whatever is needed, only it will be there. Because owning, that word, not only carrying, owning. So we move to 31, Junagadh. There are 3-4 incidents that are standing out in this Junagadh chapter. What are they?
Miracles performed by Ram.
Yes.
And Papa is made a tool.
When the prayer from the bottom of the heart, that too with zero self-interest, when it is made, it is heard. Normally it is heard. There may be some instance where it may not have been heard. But here we found in 2-3 instances when people approached him when he was having fever, Papa prayed and they were free. But never Papa felt that it was he who did it. Ramdas said that he was only a humble slave of Ram and had no right to bless anybody. Well, brother, do bless in the name of Ram. Well, brother, may Sri Ram, the protector of all, bless you with health by tomorrow morning. That night Ram was perhaps busy setting the sadhu right, for next morning he was entirely free from fever and was moving about in a good cheer and health. This marvelous cure by Ram, for working which he had made his humble Ramdas its stool, made quite a sensation in the ashram. So we became the object of considerable attention and love for all in the ashram. About 3 or 4 days later, another sadhu fell ill. He too asked Ramdas to bless him in the same way as he had done for the other. Ramdas prayed again to Ram as requested. O Ram, what a powerful being thou art. The second sadhu also recovered by the following morning. All glory to thee, Ram. So Papa was testing, Ram was testing Papa. Once okay. Again when he did, the other, he takes credit. But Papa was not owning anything. And so Papa knew it was the work of Ram only. Then, here also one remarkable thing. We now know in what condition Papa's health was. And with such a fragile health, he was prompted to climb 9,000 steps. 9,000 steps. And he has to climb down 9,000 steps. And he did that. Ram's kindness is indeed very great. "6,000 steps were covered and they reached at about 3 after midnight the ashram of a sannyasi whose name was Shankar Giriji. Here a halt was made for the night. Cold on the hill was severe. And Ram was kind and his bhajan was so sweet. Next morning the party climbed further up and reached the temple of Mother Ambaji, and then ascending the flight of steps, mounted again the highest peak among those hills. While nearing this peak, the steps were irregular and slippery, but Ram led all up safely. Here on the summit are the footprints of Guru Dattatreya. Hundreds of pilgrims are every day ascending these hills for the darshan of these holy footsteps. To sit on the edge of this peak and to have a sweeping look all around is to present to the gaze a most enthralling sight. The charming landscapes on all sides, the distant hills painted with green and yellow, the vast blue expanse of the sky overhead, and the thin silvery streaks of sparkling water streaming down the smooth and shining sides of the rocks, all are scenes that elevate the looker onto regions at once mystic and celestial. So no matter whether we are healthy or not, when God wills, He makes it possible. It is a toughest feat. 9,000 up and 9,000 down. Wow. Sannyasis of the party were complaining of stiffness and pain in their limbs. Some of them for 2 or 3 days could only hobble along. But Ram was also kind to Ramdas that he did not feel any pain or stiffness in his legs. Now Ram made him acquainted with 2 young friends, Maganlal and Kantilal, both of whom conceived a great love for him. In their company he spent a few happy days. They also introduced him to some Muslim friends. Then they went to Veraval. He sat near the sick friend and touching him on the arm, felt the high temperature. Before leaving the room, Ramdas was asked by his relative present, as well as by the friends who escorted him to the place, to bless the patient with health. Accordingly, Ramdas said that by the grace of Almighty Ram, he would be all right next morning. Ram manifested his power here as well. The patient was entirely free from all fever next morning. He was having the attack of fever for 5 days past without intermission. By Ram's grace now, the fever having left him, he was able to walk out of his place of business. Out to his place of business. Ramdas was staying in the topmost story of his shop. a huge building. Here too all were kind to him. He duly visited the ruins at the temple of Somnath, the underground cave in which there is a huge image of Somnath. It was entered and he stood before. Here again he felt thrills of ecstasy in the presence of Somnath. He bathed in the river a little away from the temple. Returning to Veravel, Ramdas expressed to the merchant friend his wish to visit Prachi and Muddi Gorakhnath and said that he would go on foot early next morning. So here he says, when he was taken to the Somnath temple, at that time it must have been in a very bad shape. And now after independence, Somnath temple has been built beautifully. And we were able to see the old one also. So here when Papa stood before the idol, Shivalinga, he said he felt thrills. So in Saguna, Nirguna, both. Though he was well rooted in Nirguna, the Saguna aspect is also equally recognized. When we think about it for deeply, we feel that an idol is the center, is an object which attracts the attention of innumerable people. For a number of years, number of decades, number of centuries, it stands there. And it is not owned by, it is not enjoyed by, it is not, the benefit is not taken by one person or two persons or a few persons. Different persons from different places. So in that way, Saguna Aradhana, worship of idol, is to be revered. An inert, insentient matter like an idol reaches out to innumerable, hundreds or thousands and lakhs of people throughout. We just start thinking about it. So that means the idol has been instrumental in kindling the faith, trust. And through word of mouth it spreads. And anybody who has been blessed with peace of mind, solace or something, when they were in trouble, when they prayed, when their prayer was heard, naturally they would have shared with others. And everybody goes there. Many of them will be the recipients of their grace. So, that is why Papa gives equal importance for this Saguna Aradhana. For a serious spiritual aspirant, getting stuck with an idol worship will be an impediment. That is okay. For a serious spiritual aspirant. For the rest of the people, it is a center. We have heard many people. With all their faith, when they are in trouble, they pray. And somehow after that, they go there, have the darshan. 6 hours, 7 hours. You see in Shabarimala what is happening? 7 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, they have to be in the queue. Tirupati also is there. So That is why Papa doesn't belittle the importance of Saguna Radhana, but for a serious spiritual aspirant, it might become an impediment because the center of interest gets crammed and localized, denying us the flexibility for expansion. God is all-pervading, that we should know, So when we see that, we limit him to that. Unknowingly. So that is why Papa was very particular that in this ashram there is no idol worship. We should be very, very clear about it. Probably that was why when the local people approached Pujya Swamiji to take the lead in construction the Sri Rama temple, Swamiji said yes. And the moment Swamiji gave his consent, in 6 months' time, everything was over. Not humanly possible. If we remember right, it was in the month of November in 1996 that Swamiji agreed. And on 9th May 1997, the Pradishta was done. Even adjacent land owned by a Muslim, he came forward to give us, and then whatever money he demanded, that was also paid, and one after another, everything was set up. So that was okay. Even today we have connection with the Rama temple. So there is a relevance for Saguna Radhana for certain type of people. For serious spiritual aspirants, getting stuck with an idol is a roadblock. Because their idea is to see the all-pervading reality. Jnanottara Bhakti. Their idol is the whole manifestation. Not to be limited to any particular idol. This we should be very, very, very careful. So that's why here again he felt thrills of ecstasy in the presence of Somnath. And then in this Prachi, everybody remembers, he was very particular that his Papa should not walk. So he gave rupees 2 for the cart fare, Bulla cart. 16 miles, 16 miles was there. So he engaged, moreover, you have to cover 16 miles. Although Ramdas was against the proposal, he was prevailed upon by the friend to sit in the cart, along with some other friends who were also bound for Prachi. The kind friend dropped into his pocket a small kerchief in which were tied rupees 2 for cart hire, to and fro from Prachi. The cart started before daybreak. They had not travelled half a mile when Ramdas saw the driver beating the bullocks with a heavy stick. He, of course, could not bear the sight. He felt as if the blows were delivered on his own back. He appealed to the driver not to inflict injury on the bullocks. He replied that the bullocks would not go if they were not chastised. Now Ram commanded Ramdas to give up the cart at once. After paying rupee 1 his hire, he got down, walked the distance, reached Prachi by midday. And when he came back, he returned the other 1 rupee. And Papa's test goes on like this. Ram's test goes on. Another friend who was moving away from him, he said, I am a Dubai caste. Ramdas is your brother, repeated Ramdas. A man who has the name of Ram on his lips is superior to a Brahmin in the eyes of Ram. In the eyes of Ram, all are equal. Until he parted, Ramdas went on talking to him about the glory of Ram. Now he took a sidetrack and separated from Ramdas, who then fell into the company of a Muslim friend driving a horse loaded with some merchandise. This friend, whose nature was simple and childlike, gave him much pressure by his society until Ramdas reached Prachi. Bathing in the large tank into which a river was flowing, he visited several mandirs, met 2 sadhus in the place, and then started on his return journey and reached in the evening time. Would he go? Here he remained for the night, the society of sadhus. Starting from there early next morning, he reached River Ravel. First thing he did was to return the balance of rupee 1 to the merchant. He had walked all the way with enthusiasm, repeating according to his wont the sacred Rama mantra. And the following day he went back by train to Junagadh. Maganlal and Kantilal heartily welcomed him back. They pressed him to remain in Junagadh for some days. He agreed to do so, provided he was allowed to remain in solitude, where he could spend his days in entire devotion to and meditation of Ram. Accordingly, Ram himself pitched upon a place called Muchukund Rishi's ashram. This is situated right in the midst of a dense jungle over a hill on the way to Girinar, about 4 miles from Junagadh. There is a temple here in ruins. Besides a number of samadhis in a neglected condition, the place has consequently a wide appearance. So here again he was thinking about solitude, Ram wanted Papa to become more than perfect, probably. Not merely perfect. He had already reached the state of perfection. Because he was mingling with the world outside, Probably Ram thought that he needs one probably to give him rest, another one to intensely meditate upon him, think about him. Because while walking or while going or while chatting or, it might not have been possible. We don't know. That's what we infer. So we feel that every now and then Papa resorts to solitude. The message to all of us is, we must also resort to solitude in a different way. In his case, he was able to spend his days in caves, far off from the cities. It may not be possible for many of us. So in which case we devise our own method to recede from the usual routine day challenges. Probably a few hours or a day in a month, something like that. So this is emphasized now. Probably somebody can work out how many times Papa has resorted to this solitude by going through this phase. And what is the interval? Every now and then. Right from Tiruvannamalai, whenever there is an opportunity, here in Muchukunda ashram, even today it's very difficult for us to get into the ashram. That much narrow the entrance is. There he spent. This Maganlal and Kantilal, they used to bring food, that's all. Dense jungle, in the midst of a dense jungle. Muchukunda Rishi's ashram. And clearly
Is it still there, Swamiji? Is this ashram still there?
It is still not ashram. It is of course, it's not, jungle is not there, but it is still there. Probably archaeological people might have put a board. When we went there, we don't exactly check it up. We did not check up. But it was difficult. It was there. We found it difficult to enter into the ashram. A granite opening was there. Very difficult for us to spend in that. There Papa spent a lot of time, 10 days. So here also he says, so before, another message is, when we take to solitude, we should know how we are going to spend it. Where he could spend his days in entire devotion to and meditation of Ram. No outside disturbance. This should be clear, otherwise we may feel bored. There will be so many problems, Suppose suddenly we withdraw ourselves from our routine job, but body may not cooperate, mind may not cooperate. So we should be very clear. Just after hearing this, suppose we go and sit in a cave, it will be difficult. So sufficient preparation, coupled with prayer, intense prayer to Him. Now you have provided an opportunity for me to spend in seclusion. Please enable me to make use of it, to intensely remember you. That is also there. So that's why he said, he agreed to do so by Ram's will, provided he was allowed to remain in solitude, where he could spend his days in entire devotion to and meditation of Ram. Muchukunda, so the Junagadh and money is the root of all evil. 2 chapters. Each chapter gives some food for thought. But every now and then we have to go from the beginning. Because he has prompted us to spend this year for an in-depth study of In Quest of God. Why? Because this in-depth study will enable us to have, facilitate us to have so many right perspectives which will help us in dealing with men and matters which are not in our control. So, you remember we started chapter number 1, where the expression is Papa was full of stress. And now we find, even in utmost adverse circumstances, Papa was never restless, never got frustrated, never felt stressed at all. We all have our own problems, We all want peace of mind. We may not talk about God realization, God remembrance. Simple thing is we want peace of mind. So this peace of mind, if we have to have, how does the In Quest of God in-depth study help us? This we should again and again and again approach the text with this bhavana. And in some cases, probably God has not given us that much tension. He facilitates us to lead a relatively peaceful life. For For them also this is good because we get a lot of clarity about the word God. And we realize that life is full of ups and downs. To have an even mind at all times, we need an extra course of discipline. Till today, probably I might not have been much problem, but tomorrow something can again come. And we might be able to share this with other friends also who are in deep distress. If God has been kind enough not to give us too much problem, definitely God will make us to hear, or somebody will approach you, or you will approach somebody who is in trouble. So at that time our faith, our trust in Him, and whatever experience God has given us, that when we share with them, it will reduce, So nobody need think that inquest of God is exclusively for my peace of mind. No. When Papa has been instrumental in giving solace and peace to many people during this travel, we remember that, God has got His own plans to work through us. For that He is equipping us. So we should take the in-depth study of Inquest of God in that light. And when we are pushed to the corner, where we don't find any direction at all, there total surrender, First chapter answers that. Where is relief, where is rest? This was the heart's cry of Ramdas. So that heart's cry, when it comes, in whatever problems He has put us now in, we don't find any way out. We are in deep trouble. At that time we have to know no but to cry from the bottom of the heart. And He will in His own way. We need not think that it should be solved in this way. He should solve it, that's all, to give me peace of mind. Suppose we attach some conditions to Him, probably we may not get. So in-depth study of Inquest of God, which He has prompted us to do during this year, must enable us, empower us to handle situations efficiently. Every now and then we have to remember, because otherwise, we will be reading and we will be one after chapter one after another, it will go, that's all. We may be able to narrate to somebody, that's all. But it will not become a part of my life. That is why you remember at the beginning it was told that it is a manual, life manual. From every chapter, He gives us some tools. If you are in a position to remember it and keep it in a baggage, whenever there is a need, we can take it out and use it and then keep it back. That should be the attitude. We have covered about now 32 or 33 chapters. Again, we have to have forgotten many things. Again, we have to keep on remembering it and see that it stays with us. Whatever hints and clues He has given, the revelations are to be kept, the experimentations have to be kept, the test report has to be kept in our mind. And whenever it is needed for us or for anybody whom God makes us to get in touch with us, we can use it. Probably not in the same manner, but in a different manner. It gives us some clues. So not just covering the chapter should be the purpose. What is it that we carry?
Reading actually understanding of practice itself is a sadhana for us, Swamiji.
Before the end, all of us should jot down what is it that has become a part of me after going through this again and again and again and again. What stays with us, That attempt should be made. Because it offers us so many answers for our pressing problem. Tomorrow is Sunday. Monday we will again have a quick recap before we go.
Tomorrow is Foundation Day.
15th May, Foundation Day of Ashram.
15th May, correct. Oh. Right. So, what should be done? Whether we should have the usual Sunday or Sunday should be postponed to Monday. Tomorrow what we should do is a heart full of gratitude towards Papa. If we had not inaugurated this holy ashram on 15th May 1931, we will not be sitting here, So with a heart full of gratitude, we remember him. And also to list out what all the association with, after he drew us to himself, what are the benefits that we got. Suppose we all do that, and day after tomorrow we will, based upon that, we will try to go through. Each one will have their own. After they hear about Papa or meeting Papa or reading about Papa, how did they come in contact with Papa? They can go through that, relive those moments. So tomorrow is a day when we can refresh all those things. Even the very act of taking up this in-depth study, it is because, the ashram is here. Though Papa's ashram is the whole universe, he has also made this for us. What all points, he made us to deeply think. Innumerable. We cannot limit to some few words. Many are the benefits we got. So we will all remember those benefits. And thank him and request him to take us forward. Up to this level you have brought us. This is not sufficient. You must take us forward and make a part of your own. Even today we feel you are separate from us. We should be able to get over that feeling that you are a part of us. That is enough. Then we don't feel ashram is separate or others are separate, because you are there in everybody. And once you make us feel that we are a part of you, that answers all. So tomorrow be, that is why, he prompted somebody to say this. So tomorrow we should intensely remember with all gratitude, reverence, list out our benefits, and offer our prayer to him to take us forward, to make us a part of him. We will not be satisfied with anything less than that. Pujya Swamiji used to say in his last letter, we don't exactly remember that word. It says that Siddhanji said, looking at us, the world should know who our Guru is. Looking at us, the world should know who our Guru is. So the idealism, the ideal for which this ashram was set up, the ideal for which Papa stood, Pujya Mataji stood, that should be writ large in all my thoughts, words and deeds. I must be identified as Papa's disciple, no? Not for anything else. That is the gratitude, that is the thing which we can pay to him. He will be very, very happy when we are not asking anything, only of this, that I should be a part of you. That universality, the unfoldment, where from the individual we rise to the cosmic level. That is what he did. So we are requesting him to be a part of it. Whatever may be our disqualification, Papa, you should somehow see that I am a part of you. You have taken us so far. 90 years before you set up this ashram. You brought many of your children here. Many got benefits. And now we are the privileged ones to remember all these things. With so many facilities. In good old days, even facilities were not there. Now, lot of facilities are also there. Now, we request you one thing. All these facilities we are not interested. We should become a part of you. Make us feel that we are a part of you. And he will be very happy if we don't ask anything and only ask for this on the ashram founding day. With that background, we will again meet on day after tomorrow. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram. Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram. Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram. Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram 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 Om.
Pranam
പ്രണാം പ്രണാം പ്രണാം. ഹരി ഓം പ്രണാം.
നമസ്കാരം സ്വാമിജി.
നമസ്കാരം നമസ്കാരം.
പ്രണാം സ്വാമി.